Hello, hello. Oh my goodness, I see the house is already full of amazing globies. Whoo, hello, Randy Bailey, first one in the house. Love you, Randy. I really do. Says, I leave from OKC, Oklahoma City, to Oregon Tuesday. Oh, to help take care of my three grandchildren in Crescent City. How cool is that? Oh my goodness. What a delightful treat for them and for you, Randy. That's a long ways from Oklahoma City. Are you driving or are you flying? Hey Barry, how's it going? Oh my goodness. The Royal Globies. I'm hungry, so let's get this program started. Yep, let's get it started. Hi, Liddell. Hello, everyone is here. Everyone is here. Hey, Donald, my brother is here. Nora, great moderator. And Barry's a moderator. Donald's a moderator. Hey, the moderators are in the house today. 63 clocks. Oh my goodness. What a day it's kind of overcast here in Southern California where I am today. And they say it may rain starting tonight about 7 o'clock. So we'll see. We'll have to see how that goes. Who else is in the house? Donald's greeting Randy and saying good that he made it. Absolutely. Hello, Lauren. Hello. And Liddell is saying hi. Hey, Miss Net, another fabulous, hardworking moderator. And Miss Net, I got your email and I have been meaning to respond. And thank you. I would love that. Thank you very much. Let's see who else. Hey, Rosany, Designs Masquerade. Shilas is in the house, one of my members. Oh my goodness. Whoo. If you saw I just added what do you call it? The thumbnail for the live. And yes, in fact, I do have a video. I was going to put it up today, but I'm going to wait and put it up probably Monday. But I have a cooking video. So many haven't been asking me to do one. So I was just busy today, so busy having some things I needed to take care of that I just couldn't get it up today. But yes, I have a cooking video, and as the title of the thumbnail says, it's about how to cook on a budget. You know, with everything that's going on, and prices are still staying high. And one of our biggest prices, our cost for living, is our food budget. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back to my roots and do some simple, delicious meals that you can cook on a butane stove. Although I may not cook all of them on a butane stove, I may cook some of them on something else, but simple ingredients. The video that I'm going to share with you has, I think, let's see, it only really has 2 ingredients plus water, but I'm adding a third ingredient. But I mean, so simple, so easy, so inexpensive. Now it comes with a package that you saw, it's not here, but of Tony Tony C, but you can actually do your own special mix, and I'll show you how. But yes, I'm getting back in the cooking game, showing you how, going back to my YouTube roots. But hey, who else is here that I haven't said hi to? Your heart can take it, Randy. Trust me, your heart can take it. Oh my goodness. Hey, Vaughn's on a roll. Hello, another member. Oh my goodness. And Vaughn, I've been meaning to make you a moderator, and I don't know if I did last week or not. Where is my phone? If I can get my phone, I can do it on my phone. Let me see if I can I do it on here? I don't know if I can do it on here. Let's see. Nope. That's only bad stuff. So no. Um, so no, I'm going to try. If I don't get it this week, I'll get it next week. But everyone's saying hello to everyone. And Brenda, hey Brenda, how are you doing? Brenda Burner's in the house, and so is Beyond My Garden Gate. But I wanted to talk to you about, some ways that you can stretch your grocery budget. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about finances, especially for seniors and individuals who are on fixed incomes and lower incomes who are having so many challenges right now. And I don't know if it's gonna get better, and I've some other things that I wanna talk about too, with some moves that are happening and changes that are coming across. I wanted to go over some of those, in some upcoming videos, and a couple of the videos I'm gonna give my opinion, but I really wanna hear from you what your opinion is on certain issues that are coming across the board. A lot of changes that so many changes are happening so fast, it's hard to keep up, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Hello, Lisa Lamoureux, how are you? Now that sounds like a Louisiana name, Lamoureux. Oh my goodness. Um, let's see who else. Hey Sheila, how are you? Um, everyone's greeting everyone. Hi Rose Grace and Kenneth Gardner. You're here and you're here early, Kenneth. Welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. Silver Wings, howdy to you, Silver Wings. And it's good to see you all, including Spirit Wind View. Keep everyone devastated by the tornadoes in Kentucky in your prayers. You know, it seems like every time we turn around now, we're seeing these natural disasters and they're happening. I was just talking to my brother Donald the other day, and we were saying, Tornado Alley is not just Tornado Alley, it's expanded way beyond. And the flood zones are going way beyond, like in Florida. They're having floods where they never had flooding before, from hurricanes. And we are we're entering an absolutely new existence. And I'm just wondering how people are handling some of these things that are coming so fast. It's kind of like in some areas a perfect storm. I was reading the other day, I do a lot of reading and research for content. And one of the things I was reading was that home prices in Florida are absolutely tanking in many areas, not in all areas, but in many areas. And people who made investments for Airbnbs, they're trying their best to unload those properties. And between insurance costs going astronomically high, between taxes going up, people are actually exiting Florida in droves. So here's the question I have. Is now a good time to invest in property in Florida when prices are going down? Or is it too risky and you may be stuck holding the bag? What do you all think? But, I'm not looking to do my tiny house in or tiny home community in Florida, but I've been so anxious to get this land, get this land, get this land. And I'm thinking, property values may be going down all over, and maybe it's been a blessing that I haven't found something yet. What do you guys think? I always like to run things by you all, but yeah, property values in Florida are just tanking, absolutely tanking in many, many areas. And it'll be interesting to see what the final, results are. Uh, but yes, in Kentucky, absolutely. Let's pray for those in Kentucky. And so many areas are being devastated by unexpected and previously uh, weather conditions that were absolutely foreign to those areas. Hey, Lori Nelson, hello. Thank you. I thought, since I'm going back to doing some cooking videos, I thought, you know what, let me go back to some of my signature uh hats and my signature look. So, and I have this hat which happened to go perfectly with this green dress. So I thought, you know what? And green is one of my this color green is and sage green are some of my favorite colors. So, hey, Marcia, hello, hello. Carlene is saying hello to everyone. Hello, hello, Carlene. And let's see who else. Everyone's hey, Patty Irwin. You know what, Patty? I if you're still in Southern California, I am going to be in the area you talked about sometime next week. So if you're still there, we can hopefully get together for lunch. That would be a lot of fun. I would enjoy doing that. Carlene is saying hello to everyone. But I'm gonna do a video, and I'm wondering, you know, on some of the changes that are coming up, what do you guys think? And I'm gonna be asking you about, some of the things going on Section 8, some of the things going on, and I have some opinions on how that's going to impact things, and I'm going to be asking you guys. So stay tuned for some videos dealing with current affairs, current topics, current changes. And there are a lot of seniors that are on Section 8 and housing, and I'm just wondering, because typically what I see is when people who are business individuals lose money or are not getting the same money that they used to get, they tend to raise prices to make up for those losses. During COVID, so many businesses lost so much money, and after COVID kind of cleared out, prices went sky high, and I think some of that was an effort to recoup some of the losses for businesses that still stayed in business. So I'm just wondering how that's going to impact the cost of housing and rent in terms of not maybe housing prices, but rent prices. I don't know. What do you all think? Yes, Lori, definitely prayers for the victims in Missouri and Kentucky. Uh, Vaughn saying, Randy, my friend, what part of California? Hey, Janice, hello, hello. Thank you, Silver Wings. I hope you're well and blessings to you. Hi, Bonnie. How are you doing? Haven't seen you. Not sure. Hey, Minimalist Minibus. How are you? How are you? We haven't spoken in quite a while. Welcome to the chat. Hey, dogs are the best friend. Are you still in Arizona? Or have you, Mary, or have you moved back east? Or where are you right now? Everyone's greeting everyone, but hey, Graham says good day from Raymond Terrace. Been raining all week, but sunny today. Rain coming all next week. Oh, love this sunburnt country of of droughts and flooding rains. Oh, go boy, oh boy. But Randy Crescent City. Randy's Crescent City. Oh my goodness. So yeah, hey, I may be heading up. A very good friend of mine is in right now is up in Bellingham, Washington, and she's asked me to come up for a visit. So she's up there for the summer, I think. So I may go up to Bellingham. I've been wanting to go to Bellingham for quite a while. So I may head up to Bellingham. I don't know. I'll see. We'll see how it goes. Um but uh What does the wrench by the name mean? Oh, the wrench by the name means that person is a moderator. In other words, they kind of keep an eye if anyone comes in, Carlene, and says inappropriate things, or they can block them, or they can kick them out, or they can, give them a warning. They're kind of my eyes and ears while I'm talking. I can't necessarily see if trolls come in, and I have some of the best moderators. I think the absolute best moderators on YouTube. So they have been faithful and wonderful, and I so appreciate them. So, but that's what the wrench means, Carlene. But what do you all think in terms of what's going on with Section 8? And I know we're going to get back to budget cooking, but what do you think about what's going on with Section 8? Do you think that there's going to be a lot of people homeless? I think there's going to be a whole lot more people living in vans, that, if some people probably will go out and get jobs. But even those who go out and get jobs, if they've been out of the job market for a long time, chances are they have not kept up with skills, or they may not have the skills to get a job. especially in California, that would be sufficient to cover their rent. But I'm gonna be talking about a lot of this in upcoming weeks and this week coming up. But what do you guys think? Section 8 supposedly, what's been proposed, and I don't know the difference between proposal and getting it through, what has to happen for it to get through, if it can be on an executive order. But what is being proposed is that individuals who have the ability to work, who are able-bodied, will have to start, um, they'll be limited to Section 8 for only 2 years, which I can understand, if you're not I don't know, this is just my opinion. If you're not disabled, if you don't have a disability, if you're not, like, in physical condition where you can't work, I don't know why you shouldn't go to work. I don't know. What do you guys think? But now someone with small children, with babies, that could be a challenge. But if you have teenagers that are 16, 17, even 15 that can kinda stay home or can let themselves in the house, although teenagers can get in a lot more trouble than little kids, let's be frank. But, if you have small children, it almost the cost of childcare is so astronomical, you won't even make enough to cover your childcare. So that could be a challenge. If someone is being, kicked off Section 8, has to go back into the real estate market and get a job, I think, helping to provide and subsidize childcare is really critical, and I haven't heard anything spoken about that. But what do you guys think about that? You know? Hey, Lisa, Outdoor Dash Travels in the house. How are you doing, Lisa? I know you have been really under the weather. I'm hoping you're better. Are you back home now in Texas? Actually, I wanted to call you. I wanted to ask you a couple questions I have on Lisa's my technical expert for advice on YouTube matters and on editing, but also my friend Allison from over at Travel Snacks has really been helpful. She was out here and she met with me an entire day and just helped go over some things. But yeah, these are my go-to for technical. So I'll be calling you, Lisa, but I hope you are doing better. Hope you're recovering and that things are going well at Dasherville. Um, Vaughn says, I'm down by Pasadena area. Oh, that's over near where Judy was, my dear friend whose house burned down and her father's house burned down during the fires. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, thanks, Nora, for sharing that with Carlene. Uh, Lori says, yes, cooking classes and financial classes sounds awesome. Yeah, actually, you guys are the first to know, I am actually consulting with a financial advisor, planner, because two of my three reasons for starting my channel: honor God, develop a financial legacy for my daughter who's special needs, and help others. And so I'm sitting down with him, looking at how I can do that. And also, I don't have it. Oh yeah, I do. I have paperwork over there. Um, I'll be sharing it with you, but I have some other things in the work that I think will help me acquire the land and get the infrastructure all done. But yeah, a lot going on. But hey, Lindy from Lava Lindy's Awesome Van Adventure is in the house. And Lindy, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, go over and check out Lindy's videos. She shares with you some things that are going on with her eyes, and with, passing her driver's test for vision, and just some other things. She shares a lot going on. And those of you and those of us, because I'm 72, who are older, fortunately, my driver's license is good, I think, for another 4 years. I just had it renewed in December. But yeah, they're really kind of scrutinizing us older folks when it comes to giving us our licenses, our driver's license. And can you imagine how limited your life would be if you couldn't get your driver's license? So Lindy is getting some things done that will help her to get her license. But fortunately, she started. Her license isn't due until July, and she started early. So if anything came up, she had time to deal with it. And I think that is so wise. And I would suggest and advise anyone who's going in, especially if you're older like us, to get your driver's license renewed. Maybe go in a few months early. So if anything comes up, cataracts or vision or anything, you can get it taken care of and not be without your license. Um, Let's see who else is over here. Everyone's saying hello, hello to Lindy. Uh, Graham says, I may have to change plans and move away from the coast, way out west where the rain don't fall. Oh, well, I don't know. When you're near I don't know that I could, I really, it would be hard for me to move away from the coast unless I was up somewhere in the mountains or on a lake. But to otherwise move away, being around water is my happy place. So, yeah. Vaughn says part of it is cloud seeding. I don't really know very much about that, Vaughn, so I can't really speak on it, tell you the truth. 63 Clock says, I saw that too, Carol, about Florida. I also heard homeowners insurance is so high now, too. Yes, homeowners insurance is sky high in Florida and in California. California because of the wildfires, and Florida because of the hurricanes. And yeah, it's getting crazy. You know, I don't really talk politics a lot, but I am going to say this. I was glad that a bill that DeSantis tried to get passed did not pass. And like I said, this is not about politics. It's really about what I think is right and wrong. Apparently, and I haven't studied the bill, so correct me if I'm wrong, it was going to allow teenagers to work overnight shifts on a school night. And I'm just not in favor of that. Working overnight shifts from, and what they work, from maybe midnight to 7 o'clock in the morning and leave work and go to school. Now, how well do you think they're going to perform in school after that? And there were some other things too about, I'm not sure if it affected overtime for teenagers, but it was a lot of things involving teenagers, and it was going to even make it younger. Even they were going to make it, I think, 17 and 16-year-olds, but in certain circumstances, um, I think down to 15 or 14. I know, but it was really young, and a lot of other things involving kids. I don't think we should go backwards. I think we have laws to protect our teens. And part of it was to replace some of the workers, that have fled Florida because of, um, different immigration policies that are going. And I'm not even going to get into that. I really want to focus on protecting our kids. And I would not want my teenager, if I had a teenager working an overnight shift and then going into school the next day. So for me, I was happy it didn't pass. I think there need to be other solutions. I don't know what they are. It's above my pay grade, and I'm not getting paid the big bucks to figure it out. But I think we need to figure out something that doesn't include, in my opinion, jeopardizing our kids' future. But that's just my say. That's all I have to say. If you have an opinion on it, I'm more than interested in hearing it. But like I said, this isn't about politics. This is about the kids and whether or not, there should be laws to protect them. But anyhow, just throwing that in because that we're talking about Florida, so that has an impact. But also talking about Florida, they were saying that the Disney World attendance has gone way, way down. And someone said they were giving away tickets. I can't believe that. But I know in California, tickets to Disneyland sometimes are as much as $250. It's variable. It's not like, okay, this is Disneyland tickets. It's like $150 and that's it. No, it depends on the day of the week. It depends on the season. It depends on the if it's a weekday or weekend. So during the holidays, during summer, during Memorial Day, these tickets can go sky high. And I was reading because I was looking on it because I was doing some research about it for something else. And you know what it said? It said even if you had bought a ticket to Disneyland, it doesn't ensure or guarantee you'll get in that day. You may have to go to a different park to California Adventure if it's too crowded. So you can get like hopper tickets and you pay more for a hopper ticket. That means you can go back and forth between the parks, but you have to make reservations and if it's busy. So I'm telling you, if I pay 200 some dollars for a hopper ticket or $250 and I'm going and you tell me I get to Disneyland to go from Disneyland to Disney Adventure, California Adventure, and you tell me, well, I'm sorry, there's too many people in here, and I paid all that difference, I'm gonna be, you talk about hopper, I'm gonna be hopping mad. But it's a shame. A lot of the things that were kind of rites of passages for us as kids, going to Disneyland, going to maybe, Six Flags, going to Knott's Berry Farm, going to some of these places, they're beyond the budget of most of these kids are not going to be able to do these things. I mean, it's not the end of the world. No, your childhood is not ruined because you don't go to Disneyland. But it would be nice if everyone could, you know, if they, it'd be nice if they had some way that maybe 1 week a year or even 2 weeks a year during that period, any parent who showed that they were on a very low income, that they would let those kids in at a very discounted price. Wouldn't that be cool? Just saying, but hey, I mean, I would think that they could afford it as much as they charge for everything in there. Are you kidding me? But anyhow, I'm getting off topic here. Off topic. But hey, Debbie Johnson, how are you doing? Uh, Brenda says, my husband grew up in his teen years in Florida. He did not like the summertime and more reasons he won't return. Ooh, yeah, it is very humid in Florida in the summer. But Texas is pretty miserable in the summer too. A lot of places are very, to me, unbearable in the summer. One of them is Las Vegas, but I seem to be able to tolerate it and Palm Springs a little bit better. But oh, I was looking and seeing where a lot of Las Vegas, it's empty. A lot of the streets, when we used to go to Las Vegas, even in May and October, which was kind of off season, it would be bumper to bumper to bumper going down the strip. To get from one part of the strip, even 3 blocks down, could take you 30, 40 minutes to just go bumper to bumper to bumper. They were showing pictures and videos where it was empty. The sidewalks were practically empty. And they were saying remember how you used to be able to go to Las Vegas and get, for $7.99 a steak dinner or for $10.99. They said a lot of those meals are out of sight price-wise. And what was it, the Imperial? But I don't know, Excalibur, one of those hotels, Big's hotels that had started back with buffets has eliminated their buffets. I guess they're just not getting enough people. So, yeah, what's going to happen? I guess because a lot of Canadians also used to come down to Las Vegas. So I wonder what's going to happen this year in Quartzsite, because so many people go to Quartzsite for the winter. I wonder what's going to happen this year in Quartzsite in December, November, December, and going into next year, January. What do you guys think? But 63 Clock says, Florida is a beautiful state and a lot of good people. Too many gators, snakes, and palmetto bugs for me. Yeah, the gators. Oh, remember that horrible story? It was at one of the Disneyland hotels or parks or somewhere. They were on the outside of it and they were walking down a path and a gator came up and snatched a little 2-year-old boy. And he actually drowned. The gator didn't die from his injuries. The gator took him under the water and the child drowned. Yeah, every time I'm in, let's see, South Carolina, Florida, those areas, I don't like getting near large bodies of water. I'm sorry, other than the ocean. but places where, they have large bodies of water, even golf courses, they have gators on some of them come up. No, 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 no. That's one thing. And those gators, they have bursts of speed. You wouldn't believe how fast they can go. Lori Nelson says lots of Yuma, Arizona homes for sale. Yes, I heard in Phoenix house prices have plummeted. So they're saying that Phoenix is really taking a hit too. So Canadians are dumping real estate. Maybe. Oh, interesting. Do you think that's it? Not sure, but lots of homes and land and RV spots for sale, Yuma area. I think I think this is a blessing in disguise that I have not found the land yet for my tiny house community, because I believe that the prices are gonna go down. I'm thinking that I want to, unless interest rates go down. Now, and I'm gonna do a video on this, but if interest rates go down really significantly, then probably house prices will resurge, at least in some places of the country, because there'll be a buying frenzy, because cheap money will be available, and people who've been waiting will start buying, and then the increased demand will increase the prices. But it's so speculative. Who knows what's going to happen? I wish I had an 8 ball, don't you guys, so I can look at it and see what's going to happen. But I think it may be to my advantage that I haven't bought anything yet. So I'm just waiting and seeing. Patrick Ross says, eating a whole food plant-based diet has been proven to be less costly for, well, I know it's far more healthy, but I don't know about less costly, Patrick, because plant-based, if you're eating organic, can be very expensive, but I guess it evens out if you're not eating the meat, because meat is now almost like a luxury. It used to be the main course, but now even people who still are not vegetarian, who still eat meat has now become like the side dish, because it's so expensive. They're even yeah, especially stay away from processed foods. I agree, Patrick. But there are places around here that they have security tags on the meat. So if you try and rip off the tag, I guess it alarms, or if you try and get out of the store with that tag on, it alarms. Yeah, security tags on meat. And I was in Walmart the other day, not too far from here, and all the cosmetics, lipsticks, all of that stuff is under lock and key. You have to go get a store clerk to, to unlock the cases so you can get, um, makeup, cosmetics, and a lot of things. So apparently they've been having a lot of products walking out the door, and that's what's happening. But yeah, Patrick, I would think, that plant-based could be, I'd say, if you're it depends. Um, I know that some of the food at the farmers markets are reasonably priced. So, it depends on where you're getting it, but if you're going to some of I'm not gonna name the name of it, but there's a store around here that is sky high. And I mean, they have some great produce, great food. Their meat is the best. I mean, it's wonderful, but you pay a premium. But you know who is not, I find, fairly reasonable, is Trader Joe's. They have pretty good stuff, and I find them Trader Joe's reasonable. Winco, and my very, very favorite is Grocery Outlet. I mean, it's hard to beat their prices. It really is. Uh, Graham says, always a good time to buy land. I have 2 acres. Wow. Oh, I'm happy for you, Graham. I would like to have a minimum of 2 acres. I'd like to have between 2 and 5 acres. Barry says, once they completely deflate in the time to buy a hand in Florida. I'm not in the time to buy a hand in Florida. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Barry, but Florida prices, anyone who sold, like my friend here, and got out just in the nick of time, because those prices are, they're they're starting to hit rock bottom. Uh, Lisa says, I bought low and sold high. That's the way to do it. That's the smart way. They may be tanking now, but in the long run, it'll only go up. Depends on the area. Yeah, now areas near the coast tend to, usually in California, tend to retain a little better. Even during 2008, when we had that remember that, that subprime disaster, prices near the coast tended to retain their prices better. Lauren says, rumor has it homeowners insurance in Florida is outrageous. Oh, no, it's not a rumor. It's the truth. And I was just talking to Donald the other day, and we were talking about how in California and now in Florida, some major players in the home insurance industry have moved out. They've pulled out. They're not writing new policies. So I think California, as well as Florida, they're going to have to come up with a statewide program like they did for earthquake insurance. Everyone's saying hello. Clark says, well, I have a hat for tomorrow, Preakness. Well, if I was there, I would, but I'm not going to be there, so I probably won't. Hey, JW, hello. What time is, oh my goodness, time is flowing. I wanted to talk about some of the things you guys are doing to save money on food. I'm using more rice in my meals, and the video that I'm going to air is a rice dish. So I'm using more rice. I'm using a whole lot more beans, and you can do a lot of things with rice and beans. Or like my goddaughter made a stew, and she added rice to the stew to stretch it and make it heartier. So adding rice to things, making a complete rice dish, or just adding rice to something, doing the same thing with beans. I'm making lentils tonight, and I'm just using a ham hock, which has meat on it, but it's not, the main thing isn't the meat. The main thing is the beans, with just a little bit of ham hock for flavoring, and a tiny little bit of meat, and then a salad. So those are some things that I'm doing. Vaughn's on a Rose says, Brenda, thanks for my gift bag in Reno. That candy kept me awake on the 10-hour drive home. Oh my goodness. Yes, Lindy had her meetup, and I hear you guys had a fabulous time. Hey, Shirley Dittman says, I think it is too hard to get your property insured in Florida. That's what I'm hearing. That especially in some areas. And now that they had that massive flooding in areas that didn't typically flood, I would imagine, I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine they're extending now considerably the flood zone that may, as far as insurance companies and what they're charging and considering flood zones now. Everyone's saying hello. Patty says, yes, email me so we can get together. Time is getting short for me here. I will do that, Patty. I will do that. Barry said, once the values go down to use, the bottom will be a good time to reinvest in Florida. Beautiful weather most of the time. Yeah, if you can. I remember when things went really, really, really down. I saw a person who had bought a condo in Florida during the subprime for like $14,000 or $15,000. Now, if you can get something for that low, I mean, you may even bypass insurance in terms of, I mean, I'd always have liability insurance, but I mean, you might just self-insure yourself, if you can get it that low, rather than pay thousands of dollars a year, self-insure and save the money and put it aside in case something happens. But, hey, Caroline Hannah says, hello. I had a hard time finding the channel today. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. JW saying hello to Miss Net. Deborah Holden is saying, hello there. I just started full-time RV life. Oh my goodness, 2 weeks ago. Congratulations, Deborah. I got a 32-foot coach that I'll be in for about a year, touring the country, looking for a place to finally land permanently. I saw a place just the other day. I love this channel. tiny home tours. They toured someone who had a place. It's in Texas, and it's called Namaste, Namaste or something. And their rent was $500 a month, and I think they took RVs. They had a 10-year limit on age, but if it's in good condition, they would reconsider. They $500 a month, and it included your water and trash. I mean, $500 a month of rent space, including water and trash, I think is pretty darn good. They had 2 spaces left when I looked. They took tiny houses, RVs. I think they took some vans even, but they only have 20 spots. So, but that's something worth looking into for sure. Vaughn's on a Row says, Patty, were you the one who is planning to go to Reno? Uh, Patty saying, hi, Lindy, prayers for good eye results. Absolutely. Prayers for good eye results. And send out some prayers and good thoughts for Lindy, and send her some words of encouragement over there as she's going through this, because this is kind of scary, you know? Sharon A is saying hello. Hi, Sharon and Cheryl. How are you all doing? Cheryl is saying hello, everyone, and hugs. Well, hugs back to you, Cheryl. Miss Nettie says, as others have mentioned, I've heard that homeowners insurance is through the roof in Florida. Yeah, I'm wondering exactly what it is. Maybe I'll check that out and let you guys know next week. But Nora's saying congratulations to Deborah. Yes, I hope you enjoy your journey. Where are you going to start out going, Deborah? Your first place. Where are you starting out from, and what are you going to be planning your itinerary? Are you going to national parks, or what kind of places, and where do you plan on parking? Silver Wing says, that's why I'm going to be living in my van by end of August. Raise in Social Security, then raise in rent. Yep. The raise in Social Security never seems to keep pace, does it? With the raising prices of rent, food, insurance. Yeah. Food, money gets reduced. Yeah. And then the cost of Medicare goes up. I mean, yeah, exactly. Cheryl says, I left Tucson back in 2023 after living there 14 years. What made you decide to leave, Cheryl? Dogs are the best friends, says, I'm up in Washington. Washington is beautiful. The coast along up there in Oregon and stuff, the water is so cold though, but it is beautiful, and the rain and stuff makes it's so green and lush there. There is one of my favorite tiny home communities called, I think, Waldenport. In Walden, I forget the exact name of it, but it's right on the coast. It used to be an old nursery, plant nursery, and it's just, I love that place. Hey, Tina Laplace, hello. Oh, it's 90 degrees in Georgia today. Oh, hot, and more hot. Oh my goodness. Uh, Nora doesn't play with these trolls. Nora says, I prefer the blocking myself. Yeah, Nora swoops in. If they get out of line, Nora is on the job. Happy Mac says, Bellingham is gorgeous. I love the San Juan Island, so peaceful. I can hardly wait. I really do think I'm going to go up and to Bellingham this summer. Although Jessica and I have been talking about going to Mount Rushmore, so I don't know. We'll see. But Bellingham, yes, is so beautiful. I passed through on the way up or to Vancouver. But yeah. Patrick Ross says, if you head up to Bellingham, you must stop by Bremerton. Okay. I didn't have that on my agenda, but I will mark that down, Patrick, and I'll look it up. Thank you. Dogs are the best friend, says, and plan to head to Bellingham soon, too, to visit friends there. Also want to see more of Washington. Here visiting my birth mom. Just found her in 2019. How cool is that? That is very, very cool. Well, for Mother's Day, me and my daughter had breakfast with her biological mom, her birth mom, my daughter and me. We all had breakfast together, and Jessica was so excited to be able to pay for it and treat us. She was just so thrilled. I tell you, we always go to the same place not in the same location, but the same uh, business. We go to IHOP every single year on Mother's Day. We go to IHOP, and Jessica buys my breakfast. So this year I told her, I said, you know what? Why don't we go up to San Francisco, and why don't we have breakfast with your biological mom too this year? So she goes, well, Mom, why didn't you think of that years ago? I was like, well, hey, anyhow, I said, well, I thought of it now, so better late than never. But anyhow, so she was delighted. Every week we had the best time. We really had a good time. Let's see. Um, who else is in the house? Anyone I miss? Uh, Marta One says, too many abused Section 8 seniors should get first priority. I hope so, Marta. I really, really do hope that that's what'll happen. Cheryl says, thank God I bought my old van in Phoenix, Arizona in 2020. Yes, yes, thank goodness. Now, are you in a van? You said you moved out of Tucson, Cheryl. Are you living in a van now, or is your van your backup plan just in case? Lori says, Section 8 senior housing in Richmond, BC, wait is years long. I know. It it's not just years long for Section 8 to get the housing. It can be 8 to 10 years for the list to even open up, and then you have to wait years longer to get called. So, if you're a senior, you may not live long enough to even get on it. But actually, you know what though? I was going to say, if there are less people on it, the wait should be shorter. But then again, if they're reducing the amount that the budget, it'll still be the same. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Lori says, I have a Facebook friend there, and she's been waiting about 3 years. She has a friend that has been waiting much longer in Vancouver, British Columbia. Wow. Clark said, problem, Section 8 housing based on gross pay, not net take home. Earn too much gross pay reduces. That's true. That's true, because gross pay, if you have, a car payment, which is not a car payment is not a luxury, and I don't think it should be held against you. Because now if you have like a $2,000 car payment, which I saw on YouTube the other day, one woman has like a $2,000 car payment on her BMW. Do you believe that? But I mean, if you have a reasonable car payment on a reasonable car, I think that they should give you credit for that, as well as for your medical expenses if you have to pay for Medicare or other expenses. And if you have to pay for child care, that they should consider that. So hopefully they'll consider revamping the program altogether, but somehow I doubt it. Brenda says, just putting this out there. I remember the video made on a lasagna in a bundt pan. I'm going to try a seafood lasagna with a creamy sauce. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Graham says, Charlie still working on his auto electrical apprenticeship. Oh, just as we were leaving Ponta, I noticed electrical wires hanging down under the van. $110 later, it was fixed and we got moving. Well, thank goodness you noticed before you got on the road. Deborah says, I have a friend with a permanently disabled adult child and is scared her Section 8 will be stopped. She has to be with him all the time. Hopefully, if hers is stopped, it will transfer to him. But she might want to consider getting him his own voucher, because if you have someone who's disabled and they need assistance, they can have a voucher that would allow them to have a 2-bedroom unit. But it's kind of scary if the voucher is in her name, and she's not disabled. I'm wondering why she didn't get the voucher in his name. That's but I'm no expert. So she might want to talk to an ombudsman or get a representative, someone who could be an advocate for him and her. Cheryl says, I'm old and retired, not going back to work with my disability. I don't blame you, Cheryl. I absolutely don't blame you. You know, those who are retired and have disabilities and are not able to go back, and it would be a real hardship, that would be ridiculous too. And heart and cold-hearted, cold-blooded to try and make individuals. Happy Max is Clark. It's like a horrible trap. Well, I will say this. There are some people who have been on Section 8 since their grandparents. Their grandparents were on Section 8, then the kids, their kids, and then their grandkids. I don't think that is what it was meant to be or meant for. I think it was meant to give you a hand. It was meant for people who are seniors who can't work because of physical conditions, people who have a disability, whether mental or physical, and can't work. I think are people who are just, going through really, really hard times, and to help them get back on their feet. But it should not be a legacy, a life legacy from generation to generation to generation. That's just my opinion. You're going to tell me that 3 generations of families couldn't work, couldn't get a job, couldn't get a skill. I find that hard to believe, or I just have kind of a that's kind of challenging for me to accept. Excuse me, my throat's getting dry here. Let me get my Panera. But I find that I think it can be a trap in that you have one generation is on it for 15 years. That's all the kids see. So that's their expectation. Oh, we'll go on to Section 8. And Section 8, you can't have it so much income, or because you'd be disqualified or kicked off, or you have to pay, increasing amount. So it's a disincentive in many instances, not in all, and maybe not even in most, but in many instances, it can be a disincentive. And when you have grandparents, children, grandchildren, all on Section 8, that becomes a lifestyle, not a hand up. It becomes a lifestyle, and I don't think it should be a lifestyle. That's just me, So I don't know, and I believe in I believe in helping people. So I say that as someone who believes in giving people a hand and helping them, but I also believe in personal responsibility. But Shyla says, you are right, Marta. Seniors should have first priority. Yes, I think senior veterans, I think veterans who have disabilities, I think anyone with a disability. Hey, Jersey Gen Z says, I'm in Houston, West Side. Oh my goodness. Well, they say that the prices are being impacted in Texas too, but nowhere like in Florida though. Hey, Carol Rivers. Hello. Thank you. I forget that, Barry, all the time. Can you guys do a thumbs up? It helps the algorithms. I don't understand it, but if anyone in the chat can give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Jersey Gypsy says, waves to one and all. Debbie Johnson says, exactly what I need, cooking and budgeting better. Don't we all? But I'm going to start doing some budgeting things, and I will share with you what I start learning from my financial advisor and planner. And also I'm going to be sharing some low cost, because I'm really, really, really going to be cutting things down to the nub to get prepared, because not only do I need to buy the land, but I need to do the infrastructure running, doing, I guess, probably putting in septic, putting in sewer, or putting in running water to each unit and electrical. So I'm really, really, really cutting down. I'm just cutting things to the bone personally. We're gonna do this last summer, woohoo! And then I'm just gonna be cutting really down. Lisa from Outdoor Dash Travel says, "Still alive and kicking, getting everything edited for upload." Oh, good. So much footing. Wow. I'm always a phone call away. Ah, thanks, Lisa. I know you must be busy catching up after, being out of commission for a while. So I'm going to give you a chance to catch up and get your stuff done. But I'll sometime maybe at the end of the month, I'll give you a call and ask you about that. But I don't want to burden you right now when I know you're trying to catch up. Shirley Dittman says, in Wisconsin, even mothers are required to work or be going to college. Their child care is provided as long as the parents are working or going to school. Now, I'm in favor of that, Shirley. If they're providing child care for these moms or dads who are single dads raising kids, that, yeah, if you've got child care, then you need to be doing, and child care is available, then there's no excuse. There's no excuse. The goal is for them to have a living wage. Absolutely. If they can learn a skill or a trade, even be electrician, a plumber, you know, a lot of people don't want to go into these trades, but I'm going to tell you, we're going to always need plumbers. We're going to always need electricians. We're going to always need people doing certain tasks. So these trades, no, people shouldn't be poo-pawing on these trades, because these trades, some of these people make some really air conditioning, heating people. They make some darn good money. So I would say if they can go back to school and either earn a trade or a skill. I worked for a Fortune 500 company. And one of the things that this person told me, I said, "Well, what do you attribute to?" Because he was the president of this company, and he happened to come out for a visit, and I happened to be able to spend some time talking with him. I was in a managerial position, and I asked him, I said, "What are some things that you would say contributed to your success and getting to the position that you are within this company?" He said, "Having a good mentor." So I would say not just having a good mentor, but also having someone who sets a good example that you can follow. But having someone who comes along and guides you certainly would be helpful. But having someone also that you can follow and you can see what they can do, and maybe you can follow in their footsteps, I think that is very helpful. The other thing he said was keeping up with what was going on in in my industry. So keeping up with what's going on, upgrading skills. So, hey, that is something, I think, if that's being provided, and the biggest oftentimes the biggest detriment or the biggest obstacle for single parents is childcare. So if that can be solved, hey, there is no excuse. 63 Clock says, "You have such a big heart, Carol. This is why we love you." Oh, thank you. Thank you. You don't know how excited I am about this tiny house community. I can see it in my mind. I just have it envisioned in my mind, and I can just see people getting together and getting around fire pit at night, and looking out after each other. I was talking to someone the other day who is older than me, in their 80s, and I was saying, it might be a good idea for you to make sure that, you've talked to all of your neighbors, and if they don't see you for a day or so, that they come up, that they call you. And if they can't reach you on the phone, that they come over, and they can't reach you, that they then notify someone. I think everyone, especially if you live alone, I think you need to have neighbors who have your phone number, and not only have your phone number, but have a family member. If you don't have a family member, a very close friend who they can contact, who can say, "Hey, I haven't seen so and so in the last day or so. Um, um, is everything okay?" And that person can say, "Oh yeah, I just talked to him," or "You know what? I haven't seen them either." would you mind going and checking? I think we all, as we age, really, really need to cultivate those relationships where we have at least a couple people who are checking up on us from time to time. So if we don't take a fall and we're lying down, not able to get to a phone or get help, and we're lying there for days, that is not an uncommon thing for an older person to have a fall and no one to know for quite a while they've fallen. Um, hi. Hey, hello. Welcome. Warm greetings from Amsterdam. I have been to Amsterdam and I was there and there was some kind of festival going on and we had the best. It was kind of like a funnel cake or something, but and we went to, what's it called? Bruges? Is it Bruges? I'm probably saying it wrong, but oh, it was beautiful. So, Kaneki, I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome, welcome from Amsterdam. In fact, I took a European tour and it started out in Amsterdam. So that was a highlight, one of the highlights of my tour. Hey, Sylvie, welcome, welcome. Graham says he had chewed the electrical brake wire, oh my goodness, into 3 pieces. My fault, lack of adult supervision. Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. Oh my goodness. Yeah, our little furry friends can be very destructive if we don't watch them. If not now, when says, I don't know for sure, but I don't think all people are unemployed on Section 8. I think the rents are a percentage of their income. No, all people on Section 8 are not unemployed. You're right. There are a lot of people who are employed and are just making below a certain level, particularly if they have dependent children. There's a scale, and they look at where you are relative to that scale, your income, and and they look at how many in the household, and there's all kinds of different things. But as your income goes up, the amount of subsidy that they give you also decreases. So, but you're right. Everyone on Section 8 is not unemployed. And they're saying that, but I don't understand why they're only letting you have 2 years on Section 8. If you get a job, but you're still making below a certain level, why wouldn't pay your entire rent? Because if you have no income, they typically pay your entire rent. But why not have it so that as you get a job, the amount again is lessened, and that's how they do it now. So why wouldn't they continue that? If a person is working full time and just not and still living below the poverty line, why not still let them stay on Section 8 for some assistance? And hopefully, they're going higher and higher, promoting and getting more and more increases till eventually they are able to come off of Section 8. Um, uh, let's see. Marta one says, glad it's fixed, Graham. Yes, absolutely. Sylvie says, yeah, I'm scared about my next license renewal because they tell me I have cataracts starting. Well, Sylvie, if you get them taken care of now, because my very good friend had cataract and went in to get it checked, and it was, they said it's no big deal. It's, you will schedule it, so many months down. Well, when they went in the next time, it had gotten much, much worse, much faster. So I would recommend going in and getting it taken care of right away rather than waiting. But, cataracts won't stop you from getting your license. Just get them taken care of. Doctors are very knowledgeable, skilled, and experienced at dealing with cataracts. It's something they deal with every single day. So, it's not something that can't be taken care of and resolved, Sylvie, but you have to go in and do that. Again, Eki is saying thank you to Outdoor Dash Travel and Miss Net. Show says, just throw me in the river where I will live. Yeah, wouldn't it be wonderful to live on a riverboat or a boat? I could live on a boat. I absolutely could live on a boat with a rocking motion, rocking me to sleep every night. Yep, I could do that. Outdoor Dash Travel. Nora says, Sylvie, cataracts take long time to fully develop. Yeah, they can, but then all of a sudden they can go fast. So, I would just say get it taken care of, or get your if your license is pretty soon, needs to be renewed, go ahead and do it maybe a little bit early, to give yourself a little more time. But I wouldn't panic about cataracts, Sylvie. I definitely would not. I don't think it's something to panic about. Um, Outdoor Tash Travel, Lisa says, Graham, I know the feeling. Zeus thinks everything is a chew toy. Yeah, Zeus is a baby. He's still a baby, getting his learning. That's how babies learn, putting everything in their mouth. Gwen says, best advice for California driver's test is take the DMV online information before you go in. That's a good idea. Good idea. Shyla says, renew your driver's license early online. Skip the vision test. I didn't know you can skip the vision test. I don't know if you can skip it after a certain age, though. I think I think after, is it 70 or 72 or something? I think, at least in California, I think you have to take a vision test. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an expert on this. Nora says, I had cataract surgery about 5 or 6 years ago. Incredible difference. Well, that's encouraging. And that's what I've heard from everyone who's had the cataract surgery, Nora, that it made a world of difference and they're so much better now. Ganeki is saying hello to people. Sylvie says, Nora, that's good because I think my next renewal is next year, so pretty soon. Okay, yeah, well, you have plenty of time, Sylvie. It sounds like. I don't know your condition, so I'm not going to say that for sure, but it sounds like you have time. Martin 1 says, if they don't have good grades, they should not be working. Yeah, I agree. I agree because it's certainly much more important to finish school, than to be working, part-time. Absolutely, Marta, one. I agree with what we were talking about earlier about kids working overnight. Gwen says Florida wanted to let teenagers work in hazardous jobs. There was a lot of things that they were going to do, and with teenagers, and I just was not in agreement with it. Nora says, if the cataracts aren't affecting your vision too much, you'll be fine with the test. Yeah, if it doesn't affect it too much right now, I agree. Sylvie says, Carol, I agree. Kids need a chance to study and get ahead. Often their parents take advantage, so we need laws to protect the kids. Yes, yes. Uh, Clark says, you are distracted. I, I am sometimes distracted, Clark. I am indeed. Tamara Lemon says, 105 watching, thumbs up, please. Yes, thumbs up. Hit that. Clark says, what is cooking? Well, I have a rice dish. That is what I'm going to be airing. It's a rice dish. And it is kind of a prep thing that's already, the rice is already has some things in it. But I'm going to tell you about how you can do just plain rice and do the same thing. And rice is pretty cheap. Although rice prices have been going up because I hear different rice fields in like Vietnam and different places where they produce the bulk of the rice, has been having some problems with weather. So even rice prices are going up. Do you believe that? But it's still, compared to other things, very, very cheap. Sheila says, not great. Had 2 knee surgeries last week. I'm in rehab right now in Millsboro, Delaware. I am so sorry to hear that, Sheila, but I'm knee surgeries, though I hear, you know, you are able to recover. I know my older brother Michael had knee surgery and my younger brother Donald had knee surgery, and they both recovered completely. My older brother, he was in his mid 70s when he had it. So I'm hoping that you have the same results, Sheila, and we are still praying for you. Nora says, Clark, she has all of her wheels turning. Yeah, I'm always turning, but how are they turning? Okay. Gwen says, our teenagers need to have time to study. Yes, and to continue to be children. Disneyland prices are insane. They are. They are. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. You know, I remember when we went, I think first time it was like maybe $40 or something, 30, might have even been 25. I don't know, but it was really cheap. And now, you know, Patrick says, I'm dancing for rain for you as fast as I can. Okay, okay. Uh, Miss Net is saying, Hello to Tamara. Oh, did I miss you, Tamara? Hello, Tamara. Tamara Lemon. Hello, hello. 63 Clock says Disney World tickets are crazy expensive. They are. I don't know what they're going to do. They used to. I have a timeshare that I bought years and years ago, and I bought it not for the timeshare itself, although we did use it a whole lot at the place where we bought it because it's near my house. With 20 minutes from my house, so we used to go there all the time. But I bought it because you get there are weeks that they have weeks that you can get through, just go on, and they'll have weeks, like a week that might normally cost. In one place we stayed in Las Vegas, that normally was a beautiful place. It was normally, like, for that whole week, it would have been like 1,200, 13 or $1,400, something crazy like that. Or one of them was almost actually it was $2,000. I got it for something like $400 for the entire week. So that's why I bought the timeshare, to be able to access those things. And I have frequently been able to get a week stay somewhere, that places that would run about $250, $300 a night, and it was maybe for $50 a night. But it was, anymore, trying to go to they want you to come in for updates. Well, actually, is they're trying to sell you an upgrade. But I always tell them, hey, I'll come in, but I'm not going to upgrade. I'm happy where I'm at. It's paid off. I don't want anything else. My little, yearly fee that allows me to get these real cheap vacations. And they used to give 2 tickets to Disneyland as a gift if you came in and sat down and listened to them go through this whole spiel. But I would always tell them when I sat down, I'm not going to buy anything. So if you want to continue, go ahead. You can just give me the tickets and then go on and not waste the time. But so I said, okay, we'll go through. But they stopped giving Disneyland tickets. I guess they said it was too expensive, but they used to give. So for 2 or 3 years, we went to Disneyland on those free tickets, but no more. Those days are over. Nora says Disneyland is such a ripoff, always has been, in my humble opinion. It's an experience. Now it's overpriced, but it is experience for kids. And the hype. When I was growing up, see, they used to have, I don't know, maybe I'm aging myself or dating myself. We used to have this thing. Oh my goodness, it's 4:20. I'm gonna have to get off here. But we used to have this thing. It would be Disney World every Sunday night, and that was one of the few shows my mom used to let us watch. So we used to be able to watch Lassie, Disney World, and I think Mr. Ed, the talking horse or something. And maybe Casper the Ghost. Anyhow, Disney World would come on, the magic of Disney. We'd watch it every week. So we wanted to go to Disneyland. We were just enamored. But now it's really no longer achievable for most people. Silver Wing says, child traffic and bad things they're into. Disney. I've never heard of that. That's not something I've ever heard of, Silver Wings. Sylvie says, I know we live in Florida and get a discount for that, but still my kids only ever went to Disney once in their whole childhood. So much hassle and so much money. Do you know people? I've heard of people, I don't know what they could be thinking of, take out loans for $10,000 or $12,000 to come for a week at Disneyland with 2 kids, 2 parents, staying at a Disneyland hotel, going into Disneyland 3 or 4 or 5 days. They anywhere from $10,000, $12,000, and even $15,000, they go into debt. What sane person does that? I mean, if you're a billionaire or a multi-millionaire and you can afford it, fine. But to go into that kind of debt to take your kids to Disneyland, that money could go towards their college. Wouldn't you think that putting that money towards college would be a better investment than going to Disneyland? But hey, what can I say? Well, folks, I'm going to get off of here. Yeah, Cynthia, I see. Oh, we're thinking the same. Cynthia says there was a man who spent $1,100 for one day of fun for his family of 4. Nothing fancy. I rest my case. Yep, yep, yep. And that probably didn't include a hotel. It was just going into there having, because they have different experiences. You can have a princess experience, you can do a breakfast thing, you can do all this. And then if you eat all your meals there, whenever we even went to Disneyland on the free tickets, what we would do, and one time it included hotel too. Yep, it included hotel. What we did was we would leave out and go have lunch at the hotel, and then we'd come back in. We'd have breakfast before we left, and we always stayed somewhere where they had free breakfast. So we'd have breakfast at the hotel, then we would leave and go to Disneyland early in the morning, putz around. Then we'd come back and have lunch at our um that I would make, and then because we always had a little refrigerator, then we go back out and putz around for a while, and then we'd come back out and have dinner. We might have dinner like at a fast food restaurant before they became astronomical, and then we'd go back in for the evening electric parade and stuff, and then we'd leave. We didn't buy the food there; it was too expensive. But anyhow, Graham said, still no word from the, oh, I was going to ask you that. Still no word from the insurance company on the house that got burnt down. Ah, I'm not too fussed about it, but the bride is really worrying about it. Worrying it is not going to make it go away any quicker. That's true. There's no point in worrying about it. It's just going to get you stressed out, raise your blood pressure, and it won't make things any better or quicker. Kenneth says, the world, according to Briggs, has a video about lowest priced real estate. I'll have to check that. I like listening to him. Thank you, Kenneth. I do listen because he has lowest price real estate. He has, the highest price. He has the best deals. He has places where they're paying you to move there. He has all kinds of stuff on that channel, and I love listening to him. Although he has a thing that if you want, I think it's his channel, if you want him to help you find real estate, and I wrote into him and he never responded. He never answered back. So why does he even say that? Anyhow, hey, stay tuned. Hi, Carol, finally made it live again. I'm glad. We're just getting ready to head out. Lauren says Colorado allows 17-year-olds to work overnight. I know this to be personally true because I had a 17-year-old CNA working on my unit. She was awesome. I retired in May 2024 after 31 years as an RN. Well, thank you. People don't always look at RNs as first responders, but I consider you all first responders because when people are in dire need in the hospital, those are the people who look after you. The doctors come in, do their rounds, and they're gone, but it's the nurses that are looking after you. So thank you for 31 years of service, Lauren. You're right, 63 clocks. Tourism is down across the country, Vaughn says Texas doesn't have a high elevation area, right? I don't know about that. I really wouldn't know about that, Vaughns. Someone from Texas will have to address that. Patrick Ross says, went to Disneyland as a 5-year-old. The first year, it opened in 55. Oh, my goodness. I went in, I think it was 61. I was about 8 or 9. 70 years later, a team of wild horses couldn't drag me into a theme park. Well, I can understand that, Patrick. I tell you. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Cynthia Allen. Hey, George. Pile patiently waiting for food. Yes, well, I do stretch my food by rice, as I said, beans. I also use maybe a ham hock or an end piece. Sometimes I'll use for meat the pieces that they use in stew, and I'll tenderize them. I'll, smash them down, tenderize them, but I use it in very, very small quantities. It's very rare anymore that we'll have a whole steak or something like that. And I use ground beef, the leaner ones, and mostly now I'm using ground turkey. I'm shopping at Grocery Outlet. The video that I'm going to do, it's ground turkey that's seasoned like taco, and I got it for $2.99. I noticed when I was in there last time, it's $3.49, so it's gone up 50 cents. But, you get a pack of it for or for $3.49, and you can use that with all kind of rice dishes, bean dishes. I saw someone a recipe also with using cabbage and as a main thing, cabbage or kale or greens, and then just adding a little bit of meat and even adding it over, putting it on top of rice, you know? Those are some things that I've been doing to stretch our budget. And lentils, I love, love, love lentils. And these are the things that I've been doing. Also, potatoes. I'm using potatoes, dicing them up and sauteing them, and then adding spinach or something to it and seasoning it up and adding just a little bit of meat to it, a little bit of ground meat, just for mainly for flavor and a little bit of texture, but reducing how much meat I use and using more chicken, because chicken is still in many areas still less expensive. Especially, they still have, I've seen packs of chicken legs really, really cheap at grocery outlet and some other places. Not in the last month or so, I haven't seen it, but a lot of times. And I stop. I rarely shop at the big grocery chain grocery stores. I shop at either Winco, Aldi's. I do some things, some basic necessities at Walmart, but mostly grocery outlet and Costco. And one of the things I'm starting doing is sharing, because Costco, you have to buy large quantities. So I'm sharing with other people. We'll split something. So what I buy will last longer. Also, you know what? Milk. Jessica loves milk, especially when I make a coffee cake or cookies or something. I found that and I also go to the Dollar Tree. They had these shelf-stable milk, that comes in a carton that's a quart, and it was $1.25. Even at Walmart, it's 2.90 or 3 something. So I bought a whole slew of them because they're good all the way till September. So buying the shelf stable milk instead of the milk that you have to refrigerate immediately, for it was considerably cheaper buying it that way than buying the shelf, because I can put it aside. And if you buy a large thing of milk, the chances are for us it may go bad. So if I buy smaller quantity for a cheaper price at Dollar Tree, so when I see deals like that, I stock up on it. So those are some of the things. And also going to some of the farmers market, and I go almost at the end of the farmers market when they're trying to get rid of their stuff. They don't want to bring it back with them. They've packed it all up and carted it over to the farmers market, and they don't want to pack it up and bring it back. So I go almost the last half an hour or so of the farmers market, and I find I'm able to get some better deals and even do a little negotiating, you know. So those are some of the things that I do to save on groceries, and I do watch sales. I really, really watch the sales. And anyone else have any great tips? I'd love to hear from them. Um, 63 says, congratulations on your retirement, Lauren. Yes, yes, yes. Campervan 1972 says, well, Trump says you don't need anything from Canada. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So much is uncertain right now, and you know, we're just going to have to see. There's so many things I'm not even going to guess on right now, because things from day to day change a lot. So we'll just have to see. Um, Yeah, they found the little boy a day or 2 later. Oh, Cynthia, that just broke my heart, that 2-year-old who drowned, when the gator got him. Randy says, I've never had Section 8, but I'm not dead yet. Well, I'm going to have a lot of suggestions on budgeting and different things, Randy, coming up. Way too hot for me in Tucson. Oh, okay, Cheryl. Yeah. Yeah. And I hear that Prescott is not as hot. I don't know. And it wasn't at one time as expensive, but I don't know now. Deborah says, I'm in Phoenix now. My friend just bought a condo. She's not been able to afford it until recently. Yeah, so prices must be coming down. Sylvie says, just last week, a woman was killed by a gator in Florida out canoeing with her husband. They passed over it and woke it up. Oh my gosh. That, can you imagine her poor husband, poor her, but her husband having to see that? Clark said, court-sized BLM permit increased price. Very possible feds will request for a bid. Management of land. Wow. Similar to contractors that operate in national parks. And if that happens, prices are going to even go higher. So we'll have to see what happens. We really will. Vaughn says, Cheryl, the older I get, the more I hate summer heat. Don't we all? Don't we all? The older that we get, how many more things do we hate, Vaughn? All right. Well, you know what? I'm way over, folks, way over. And I am going to have to get off of here. But can my moderators drop your links and go over and check out my moderators? Can anyone who has a channel wants me to call it out, put a big C? And if you're the first time in the house, can you put a number 1? Can you just put a number 1? Graham says, I've never seen land prices go down. Actually, they have. When we had the subprime debacle over here in 2008, along with prices for homes, land prices kind of went down too. But we'll see. We'll see what happens this time. Plant-based also has a lot of sodium, Martin says. It depends. It depends on, some do. You do have to, people always think that plant-based may be, lower calorie and lower sodium. Not necessarily. So you do have to check, Martin. You're right. You do have to check. 63 Clock says, I'm with Vaughn. I can't handle severe summer heat. Sylvie says, I think you are wise to watch and wait, Carol. It seems everything financial is in flux. A lot of things are in flux. They really are, Cheryl says, I'm from Ohio, so season weather is fine with me. Season weather is fine with me too, but I don't want 10 inches of snow. No, no, no. Clark says, 90% best time to buy a home is November, December. You're absolutely right. Clark, anytime I've ever bought a home, except for one time, I think I bought in January, but I've always closed in January, but bought in December. And my reasoning being that anyone who lists a property at Christmas time or during the holidays when things are so busy, they're desperate to sell. They really, really need to sell. So they're often willing to negotiate and to look at better offers. Most folks want money for the holidays and end of year finance decisions, but they also, if you know if you know that Christmas is a busy time and most people aren't out looking for houses at Christmas, and you list your home at Christmas, in my opinion, that's because you are in a tight situation. You've been transferred or you've bought another home and you're paying 2 mortgages, but something has happened that made you list it then rather than waiting till later on in the year when it'll be more advantageous to you. Lisa says, I did when the pandemic hit. I bought my home then when interest rates were 3%. Afterwards, I haven't seen 3% yet since. Well, they're having some, Trump and Jerome Powell are in kind of a tussle right now. Powell wants to keep interest rates where they are. Trump wants to lower them. So we'll see. We'll see how this all ends up. Ganecki says, yes, we have security tags on steaks here in the supermarkets, in Amsterdam as well. Wow. So even in Europe too. Oh my goodness. Vaughn says, oh yeah, some stores here have toothpaste locked up too. They do. Yeah, Vaughn. Oh, yep. That's true. Lisa says, keep getting people calling to redo my equity and the lowest interest rate was 5.4. No, that doesn't make sense. Graham said, what used to be cheaper cuts of meat you now need to take out a personal loan for? Oh, I wanted to talk to you about that. Oxtails used to be so cheap. I mean, they were like practically throwaway. Then people got hip to how delicious they are. And my brother, oh my gosh, my brother made oxtails. Oof, for Jessica's brother's birthday was Mother's Day weekend, and my brother Michael made oxtails. They were delicious. Makes my mouth water just thinking about them. And they were thick, meaty ones because usually oxtails it's mostly all bones. But you know, I went into one of my favorite restaurants and they had oxtails on the menu now. And do you know how much a plate of oxtails, just a plate with a side or two and oxtails, just not a bucket, a small regular plate. They're charging $50. This is at a barbecue place. A barbecue place. 50, that's the highest thing on the menu. Oxtails used to be throwaway food. Yeah, Graham, you're right. You're absolutely right. What used to be cheap now, but now people are using, what do they call it? They're substituting something else for oxtails. I forget the cut of meat it is, but I looked it up because I thought, well, this is not going to work. I'm not paying these kind of prices for oxtails. So there's another shoulder blade. I don't know, but something that they're using instead, and they said it's almost as good. So I'll have to try it. Uh, let's see. Cynthia says, when I was remodeling my house 12 years ago, nothing was locked up. Now most of the power tools are. Central Alabama. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I like Trader Joe's too, Patrick, because their products really are good tasting. I mean, they really are good tasting. They have a lot of healthy choices. Yeah, yeah, Rose Grace, me too. Ganecki says I had healed my gut following a meat-based diet. Oh, really? Okay. Well, hey, I I'm always interested in hearing more about things that work for someone. Yeah, isn't that so? Is that crazy or what, Vaughn? We will have to have a layaway plan for groceries. Oh my goodness. 63 clocks is great. So true, Graham. At my house, steak is now once or twice a year for holidays. Yes. Yes. Cynthia says, trying as we speak to sell my mom's house. Been on the market for 3 weeks now. Depending on where it is, Cynthia, that's nothing. That's not a long time. I know it may seem like a long time, and it may be if you're anxious to sell, but depending on where it is, 3 weeks is not very long. Hey, Sharon's Joyful Journey. Hello. I mainly eat meat a lot, hamburger, much better for weight loss and healing of autoimmune system. Yeah, yeah, most of us are eating mostly hamburger now if we do eat meat. I agree. All right, folks. I am going to get off of here. Miss Net said actually you can do that now with online grocery shopping. You can split your payments up. What? Are you kidding, Miss Net? You can split up your online grocery shopping payments? I I'm almost speechless. Notice I said almost. I'm gonna have to check that out, Miss Net. Oh my goodness. Oh, oh, Randy says, I had my dog rescue on 5 acres. Wow. I knew I loved you, Randy. You rescue dogs? Wow. Wow. Silver Wing says, prayers for all those in our nation that have and are going through tragedies and disasters that have been rampant. May God keep you all in his healing and loving hands. Stay strong and safe. Absolutely. I echo that. Cheryl says, my black lab eats better than I do. Cuddles too. Cuddles has his food is salmon and sweet potatoes with no grains. I'm sorry, Sharon. Yeah, you're gonna, yeah, you get inflamed. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a good idea too, Cynthia. You could also add grits or oatmeal. I wonder about oatmeal in some things, huh? Randy says, if I could play with dogs for a living, that would be amazing. Well, hey, you never know. Do a business that has playtime for dogs. um, Oh, that's right. Markdown meats does help, Cynthia, because Winco and the evenings they mark down the meats that are going to expire the next day. So I sometimes go in there when they're marking them down, or if I'll find some that I'll ask them. I say, "Hey, are you going to mark these down?" I'll mark them down, and then I'll put them in the freezer. Yep, that's true. Uh, Patrick is asking, "How is your lipid panel, Kaneki? Because meat raises cholesterol and causes um different types of cancer." Sylvie says, "I'm eating more black beans." Leslie says, I'm sorry, Lori says brown rice and red beans is so yummy. Love Spanish rice too. Ooh, I love Spanish rice too, and you can make your own from scratch. Thank you. Sarge Jag is loving my hat. I have a rice cooker and it works perfect rice every time. I know. I love those rice cookers. I also, let's see if I have it in here. If I can show you. Oh, something I got and then I gotta go. Hold on, I'm going to show you something that I bought. I'm going to do something showing you all my favorite stuff. I bought this mini cooker. Is that the coolest thing? It's a little mini electric stove, pot, not stove, electric skillet. And it's 600 watts, but I have a good power bank. So I haven't used this particular one yet, but I've used some other my mini stuff. So I'll share that with you guys too. But I know I keep saying I got to go, but I really have to go. I know I'm going to miss all kinds of. Graham says, get a walk and do stir fry. Oh, yeah, yeah. 100 million. Yeah. Uh, all right, folks, I am going to be getting out of here. Trying to see, I know I'm going to miss a lot of comments. Hey, Joy B, hello. I hope I've said everyone. Hey, tasty authentic foods. Oh, what is your favorite authentic food? I know I'm just going to try, and anyone that I've not said hello to, I'm going to say hi to, and then I'm getting out because I've gone way over. Hey, Paula Fino, hello. North, your insurance is $1,600 a year, but my property taxes are $400. Wow, where do you live? Because that's fabulous compared to here. Oh yes, Walport. That's it, Sharon. Walport. There's a tiny home village I've been wanting to community I've been wanting to visit there. Oh, you have a converted cargo trailer. Oh yeah, I imagine that can get hot. Oh, Deborah says I'm in Corona for my daughter's quinceanera. Oh, how exciting is that? Then to Connecticut, down the East Coast and across the South. Wow. Well, hey, Deborah, if I come up that way next week, maybe we can all get together for lunch. Because I am going to be in that area, not in Corona. I'll be a little south, but I'll still be in Riverside County. All right. No, Miss Net, Nora does not play. She does not play. All right, I am going to get out of here. I think I've greeted everyone. I know I'm missing a lot of comments, but I gotta go. It's really, hey, simply being me. Hello. I think I've said hello to everyone. Ivan K. Hey, Ivan K. Um, Mike, is Mike in here? Mike Rowe, talks about the trades and offers scholarships. Oh, okay. um I'm Jessica's here. She's like, you're still on your live. I know. I'm still on my live. Hey, Andrea Morris. Hello.
This is like the longest you've been on.
I know. Jessica's like, this is the longest you've been on, Mom. You got to get out.
Mom, I think they can hear me. No, I didn't say get off.
Oh, okay. Joyful Artist says, sorry to be so late. We haven't had power or internet. Wow. I hope things get restored for you. And I hope you have you don't have a power bank. You might want to consider getting a generator or a power bank, Joyful Artist. Hopefully, maybe they'll have some on sale for Memorial Day. All right. Hey, Triathlete New York. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. Jay Thompson, I don't live in my vehicle. I have not lived in it. I have a home base. I've traveled extensively in it. Well over 100,000 miles in combination of different vehicles, probably more like 140 or 50,000 miles now. But I don't live in it because I have to keep a home base, and I've explained that. Well, now that she's over there, I'll say it because I have a special needs child daughter, and I really need to keep a home base for her. So, hey, Donna S. All right, I am heading out, heading out. I think I've said hello to everyone. Has anyone first time in the house that wants to hit one? Let's see. Okay, we have a couple ones. Cynthia Allen, welcome, welcome, Cynthia Allen. You guys know how we do. We Globies go over and say hello to everyone. Hey, Carol Yetley, how are you? Guadalupe Pake. Oh, Texas does have Vaughn. Texas does have high points according to Carol Utley. Guadalupe Peak is over 8,000 feet. Okay. Um, and let's see, and Trans Mountain in El Paso is 7,000 plus feet. So apparently, Texas does have some high elevation spots. Hal Howard says, I go to my grocery store during the early morning when they're marking items down that will soon expire. If it's meat, I will freeze and I don't use with yet if I don't use it. Yeah, they do it here. They do it the night before. So yeah, I do the same thing, Hal. That's a great way to save money. So Outdoor Dash Travels has dropped her link. Cynthia Allen is the first time in the house. We want to say hello. Carolyn Lee, hello. Any of my content creators, I know Lava Lindy's awesome outdoor van adventures and Outdoor Dash Travels are content creators. Also, Nora over at Nora Cake on Etsy. Go over and look at her shop over there. She has the most beautiful paintings you could ever want to see. Sylvie says, yes, oxtails, tongue, squid. Yeah. That's not what they say anymore. You're right. Those things have gone sky high. Things that used to be dirt cheap. Oh, beef shanks. That's what it is, Hal. That's what it is. Thank you. They're substituting beef shanks for oxtails. I haven't tried that, but I'm going to try it because now my brother cooks his in the pressure cooker, and I'm a little bit afraid. My mom, I remember once her pressure cooker went pew all the way up through part of the ceiling. But yeah, but my brother said, "Oh well, she still used it after that." Okay, well, but but maybe Instapot, which is kind of a pressure cooker. Yeah, beef shanks. I'm gonna try that, Hal, and see how it turns out. Oh, I love turkey tails. And I love turkey wings, but I haven't had them in a while. I don't know how expensive they may be right now. All right. Let's see. Any more ones in the house? I know I'm passing a lot. Hi, Liza. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. That's Nora's niece, Liza. Welcome here, Liza. Um, all right. I think I've said hello to everyone, and it is. Do you believe this is? I think the longest live I've ever had. But I just love being with you guys and hearing your comments and hearing you share stuff and yes, I'm going back to my roots next week. I have a rice dish that I'm going to be putting up and let me know because I've had so many people ask for a cooking show. So I'm back in the groove doing some cooking and I will see you all. Stay safe, especially those of you who may be in the areas where there are tornadoes or anything. Stay safe and God bless. And I will see you on our next live. All right. Love each and every one of you. And I just hope your journeys are filled with joy and blessings in abundance. All right. Till next time. Now, let me see if I can sign off here. Okie dokie.